everyone, and welcome to Coffee Chats with Seismic. My name is Jessie, and I'm a field marketing planner based out of Boston. These chats will give you a sense of how our collective community is adapting to the evolving business environment. Today, I'll be speaking with Ruben Muir, Seismic's Senior Director of Demand Generation, and Joe Ferrero, Seismic's VP of Revenue Development, as they share insights on how to align their go-to-market teams. Before we kick off, the first question I have for you guys is, what are your go-to morning beverages?
For me, it's easy. Iced coffee, 100%. Love it.
Yeah, so I don't drink coffee because I'm wired enough naturally as it is. If I drink coffee, my wife can't stand me for more than 3 seconds because I'm crawling off the walls. So I basically drink a probiotic / vegetarian supplement called Maximum Vibrance. That's basically like 7 servings of fruits and vegetables for the whole day with like a bunch of other crazy stuff. It tastes like awful, but it's like really, really good for you.
That's so California.
Yeah.
So Joe, your position at Seismic is brand new, and Ruben have being one of the main stakeholders in determining the need for this role. Can you talk a little bit about how this position is a bridge between the two departments?
Yeah, sure. So, I mean, my team doesn't function really without Ruben's. His team's giving us leads. My team is the one having the conversations with all the different prospects. So it's really important that we're going back to Ruben and saying, here's what we're hearing. Like, this is what people are saying. People don't remember doing this, or people said this, and this message really seems to resonate. You know, I've been here for about 4 months now, and we've already seen a nice uptick in both activity and results. It's not that we have a new team in place or anything since I started. I think it's just really the communication and refining some processes that existed before, making adjustments based on all this feedback and collaboration.
That's great. Ruben, do you have anything to add to that?
Yeah, I think it's interesting. When I first came on board, I noticed really quickly, I was like, where's my counterpart? And I was looking for my counterpart on the sales side. And I brought that up right away. I was like, I need someone that I can literally be married to, like on a daily basis, to like figure out how to make this engine work. Because it's like the yin and the yang, right? There's only one part. We can come up with as many leads as we want, but if we're not going to have a sales mechanism to be able to, reach out and follow up and, convert, then it doesn't matter. Like, we need both sides. And I flagged right away that we needed someone like Joe to come on board, try to stay off his radar for the first couple of days. And then I just bombarded him with stuff. And I think that ever since, it's been pretty good. Like, we've gotten a lot of, as Joe said, a lot of traction, a lot of success, and it's just proving itself.
So sales and marketing, a duo that should be as strong as Batman and Robin. How important is your relationship to this alignment?
But who's Batman though? Hold on, we got to figure that out, Joe.
Who is Batman?
Who's Robin? I'll be Robin. Fine, I'll be Robin.
A lot of marketing teams and inside sales teams sometimes are a little bit contentious in terms of their relationships, but Ruben and I, it's a very collaborative relationship, and I'm not calling him saying, where are my MQLs, or we need more leads. It's more about how can we work together and how could we move the business in the right direction. I could just say, like, we talk every single day, multiple times a day, and it works.
Yeah, I think it has to be like a marriage almost. You have your ups and downs. You got to be frank with each other, because we bring stuff up that's serious. We don't always just tiptoe around, but we're very respectful of each other, and it's always from a spirit of deep partnership rather than us versus them. And I think that a lot of companies fall into that trap where it turns into us versus them. I mean, we've heard the story a million times. Marketing goes, here's a bunch of leads. Sales goes, the leads are weak, and then marketing goes, no, you're weak. You're not handling the leads properly. And it kind of turns into this cyclical kind of like back and forth of like, whose fault is it? And if you get into that trap, you literally go nowhere. Like, there's no way that a business can be successful if marketing and sales doesn't have a deep, strong partnership.
There is some of that, right? I mean, not to say it's a perfect relationship, but sometimes Ruben pushes back, and it actually causes me to look at the business a little differently. He has a different hat than I do. So sometimes he'll mention something that I didn't think of, and I think vice versa. I'll mention things to Ruben that he might not have thought of. So I think we push each other in the right areas.
That's awesome. Do you guys have any shared philosophies that you guys both go by?
So real quick for me, it's this. I always want feedback from Joe and from Joe's team. And when we have like our daily meetings where we just talk about what's working, what's not, what we need to do, I always say, I want you to come back to me and tell me this sucks, but I always want you to have a comma after that and then tell me why, and then maybe offer some type of solution or an idea for a solution, right? So constructive feedback. Like, I don't want everyone in sales to be like, yeah, everything's great, we don't need anything different. Like, I want Joe to be able to come back to me and be like, hey, these things we need to address them. They're not where they need to be, comma, this is what I think we should do. Or like, this is what I found. This is the experience that I've had with them so that we can fine tune. Because as you'll see is like the pipeline generation method requires consistent optimization. It's like, you're never done. It's never done. You're never just like, oh, let me just like set the switch and forget it. Like, no. It's a daily grind. You have to work it and you have to challenge assumptions. And so like, I always tell them like, I want you to crucify like stuff if it's bad, like, but tell me how we can fix it.
Ruben gets us great leads, but he also understands that we have some work to do on those leads, right? He understands, they're not perfect out of the box every single time. So sometimes we need to work together and communicate on, how to get these to the finish line. We definitely share that philosophy as well.
Joe, an interesting fact to our viewers, you are amongst an interesting group of people who took on a new role during quarantine. How does that feel to be working with a team that you've never actually met before?
Yeah, it's been interesting, right? So I never even been to the office when it was open. I was there for an interview and then they shut down and I started. It's been challenging, but it's also been really rewarding because it's given me the opportunity to really like dig in more. Like, I'm calling people all the time, like setting one-on-ones with them. And sometimes when you're in the office, like as much as you want to do those things, different distractions pop up and different things happen throughout the course of the day. So you might not have that opportunity to truly schedule your day like by the half hour. I wouldn't be lying if I didn't say I missed the social aspect, but I think we've made it work. And I feel like when we do make it back to the office, it's going to be like my first day all over again. And I might be 6 months in at that point.
That's awesome. Do you have any additional tips besides just digging a little deeper with your team on how to develop a team during this new business environment?
What a lot of people don't think about, and what I've encouraged my team to think about, is to quantify, like, what does a good day look like? What does a successful week look like? Obviously a successful month or a successful quarter is based on your quota, but what does a good day look like? Like, what are the day-to-day activities you need to do to get yourself there? Talking to the team about those KPIs is extremely important.
That's awesome. Thanks for sharing. And Ruben, you're also relatively new to Seismic, having started about 6 months ago. Can you talk about how your role has evolved from heading up just a demand generation team to now also running partner and ABM in such a short window of time? And how do you connect all those pieces of the puzzle in order to ensure a strong connection between the sales and marketing teams?
Yeah, so that's a whopper of a question, and I would literally be able to write a book about that, like a full book. So I'll give you the abridged version. I think that what's exciting about, having to build a jet engine while you're falling from the sky is the fact that you have this kind of like sense of impending doom and urgency. And that for someone like me is a super awesome motivator because I love moving fast and breaking stuff, obviously, but like you're going to break stuff when you move fast, but moving fast is like sort of what I like to do in building things. And so for me, I saw this as a massive opportunity where I'm like, okay, how fast can I get it while keeping the engine intact enough where it like doesn't necessarily fall from the sky, but like make it so we can just accelerate at an incredible speed. And the first thing you got to do is you got to get everyone in alignment with that, right? So like I come in and my team, I just turn their world upside down. Like I introduced the agile methodology because that's how I operate on the demand gen and on the ABM and partner front. We do weekly sprints. So everything now compresses from what would normally be like a 3-month-long project to like a weekly iterative cycle where you're just like cranking as fast as humanly possible and highlighting block points and highlighting obstacles and bottlenecks really early on so you can pivot faster. And so for me, I think the biggest thing is just agility, right? It is not getting to perfection, but shipping it almost like a little prematurely, but just enough to where you can get the thing done, And I think that that's my philosophy, and that's why we've been able to mount so many operations in such a short period of time. But you can't do it by yourself. If I came in here running 3,000 miles per hour, if I'm not taking my team with me, then it's all for nothing. Like so I had to empower and enable my team to run at that speed, and they just did incredibly well at that. I mean, they embraced the challenge. Yeah, sure, we're gonna break some stuff along the way, but I mean that's the fun of it. I mean, you're in a startup because of that, right? Like to get that innovation, to get that agility. And so for me, it's just fun, and it's always about connecting the dots. You're mentioning a demand gen partner, ABM, all these other pieces, even events and stuff. Like everything has to work in concert. It can't just be siloed. So like for me, it's this total no-brainer to have this sort of cross-functional integrated marketing approach, because that's how you create impact.
As a sales enablement platform, we obviously drink our own homebrew here at Seismic. How has the platform helped Seismic connect your sales and marketing teams?
So for me, the Seismic platform is so powerful. The platform allows us to nurture a lot of the deals as well. There's a lot of people that are kind of interested, but they're not ready yet. We're able to know who all of those people are, and through the platform, there's recommended actions and recommended things that we send them at different points. That enables us to send them the most relevant material at the most important time for them. So that helps us not only develop new pipeline, but nurture a lot of the existing pipeline as well.
It serves a great internal purpose as well. It's not just for our customers, but it's for our own teams, right? Like we, for instance, I'll give you an example. Whenever we do something like a virtual event or a webinar or whatever, we can create documents and content to inform the team that what is this thing? Like what are the talking points? What is it about? And so then Joe's team can consume that content, and we can see analytics for like who's actually engaging. So who knows the webinar that we have this week? Like, oh, they know because they read it, because we can tell that they read it. So it's like, can we use this internal content to really educate ourselves and work cross-functionally in a better way in order to have the joint message, right? In order to have the same focus and the same direction and narrative, both on the outbound side, like nurturing and sending stuff out, but also internally inside of our own ranks. And I think that that's incredibly powerful to have that kind of level of transparency, so that sales never is asking the question, like, what's marketing up to? Like, they know what marketing's up to because of Seismic. Like, they can see everything because of Seismic. They go in and they look under the hood. They know what we're doing, what we're planning, what channels are working, how to message things, how to reach out. And that's all because of the sales enablement infrastructure that underpins the entire operation.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And now for a little fun game. Before signing off, I want to ask some rapid fire questions. Who is one of your favorite storytellers?
I'm going to go with Charles Dickens. I'm going to pull out my English major and go with that.
Awesome. I'm just going to go out and say my favorite movie director, Quentin Tarantino, is my favorite storyteller.
What sanity breaks while working from home?
Playing with my kids, to be able to go downstairs and just hang out with the kids for 10 or 15 minutes. And it definitely helps me clear my head and realize how innocent they are. I could be having a rough day, and their version of a rough day is very different. So it's a good refresh during the middle of the day.
I got two main go-tos. My first one is exercise, like for sure. Great stress reducer and anxiety reducer. And that's my first one. My second one is I play World of Warcraft. It's a fun game. It's immersive. It's a fantasy thing. It's cool. I mean, I don't play it a lot because I have a toddler, but like, if I need an escape, I'll just pop on World of Warcraft.
What podcasts are you listening to, or what books are you reading?
I'm actually reading a book that my wife recommended. It's called Educated. It's a memoir from someone that grew up in a survivalist family. She kind of broke out of that and talked about her life experiences. And so when she got out into the real world, she kind of recognized the fact that, life was very different than how she was brought up. Yeah, I've been reading that.
For me, I'd have to say Masters of Scale is a podcast that I really, really, really love. I mean, I love like listening and reading stuff that's like self-improvement, like tactical and strategic execution on stuff. So Masters of Scale is great because it breaks down like, how do you achieve rapid growth? How do you innovate? Like, how do you deal with some of the biggest issues like hiring and things like that? Like, it's really, really informative. They bring in incredible talent that have ridiculous amounts of success, and they just kind of give you all of their nuggets of wisdom that they've built throughout the years, and that's super priceless.
Awesome. And any binge worthy shows that you guys have been watching?
Homeland, it's kind of a lot to take sometimes, but it's a really cool.
I got two that are polar opposites. One of them is called Peaky Blinders on Netflix. Awesome show. British, gangs during Prohibition era. Pretty interesting topic. And then also the Golden Girls.
Awesome.
I'm not even joking. The Golden Girls. I love the Golden Girls. Like, they're awesome. Like, it never gets old.
Perfect. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. Make sure to keep an eye out for our next coffee chat by visiting the Adapting to Change Hub on Seismic.